What's up, guys? It's Matt with Suck My Mod. Today, we're going to check out one of the nicest mechanical mods that I have tried to date. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at the glass. All right, so this is the glass stainless steel signature series 18650. Now, if you are a high-end collector, I'm sure you have heard of glass mods. If not, just fair warning, these are expensive. Not Team Cheap Mod. One of the more expensive mods out there when it comes to mechanical mods. This one, they start like above $300. This one's $325. So if you already think that's stupid, just don't watch, because these are incredibly expensive and they're for the high-end collectors and they're a collector's item. Now, I've said before and I'll say it again, I try to review things all around the spectrum. I mean, my last review was on a $30 Addy. Now I'm reviewing a $325 mod because I don't really want to fit into one category. I like to just cover as much as I can of everything, really. And so just a little backstory on the glass. These came out, I believe, last year. Now, when these things first came out, it was kind of before mechanical mods started dying off a little bit, and they were hard to get. They were sought after in all the high-end groups. They went for a lot of money back then. I mean, I think they were more like people would flip them and stuff. They were just, one of the most sought after mechanical mods out there. Now that mechanical mods have slowed down a little bit, I guess the demand for these have probably slowed down a little bit. Although I know the mechanical mod collectors out there still just covet these and love these. Most of them have one in their collection. And for good reason. The mod, I mean, I'll tell you right now, it's one of the best mods. It's probably the best mod I've ever used. The switch is amazing. The way the top cap works is amazing. The machining is amazing. The materials are amazing. It's just kind of a work of art in my mind. And it's, a mod that I'll probably never let go of and I'll probably just have as a collector's item. Not something I'll probably go take out as a beater, and beat it up. It's something I'll clean and take care of and covet it. So I have the Marquee RDA on here right now. It's like a 0.3 build. I'll go ahead and vape it. Yeah, I mean, that switch is just great. For a stainless steel mod, great performer. The contacts are a silver rhodium mix, I guess, some sort of special mix that they have. The button is just amazing. We're going to attempt to take it apart in the up close. There is a sapphire crystal right there in the switch with an engraved coin piece inside of it. And it's a work of art. It's kind of one of those things that you can't really understand it until you use it. And so what we might as well do now is we'll dive down up close. We'll take this guy all apart. I'll show you all its features and we'll go from there. All right, so here is the box that the glass mod comes in. Very simple, very elegant. Just says glass on there, okay? Now you pull the top off. You get a little leather pouch in there. Inside is your mod, anything else you might order. So there's the mod, if you ordered other tubes as well. There's, some drip tips if you bought those because they sell those as well, any other accessories. And then inside here, you get a couple extra pieces for that switch, which is good because I'm going to take it apart and I hope I don't lose anything. And then you get this card about how to register your device, talks about the classic Porsche and just kind of talks about how this is, kind of a collector's item and all that good stuff. I have stainless steel number 504. And then there's this QC card, which is, what they do to each device before they send it out. They test it for voltage drop. So very minimal voltage drop according to these tests. So then there's just a little cleaning card and all that good stuff. And so, yeah, I mean, the packaging is just top notch and it feels expensive. This nice leather case, I believe it's like an Italian leather case, is obviously not cheap just in itself, but just very elegant feeling. So we'll get that out of the way. All right, so here is the glass mod. This is it in its 18650 version. This stainless steel version is very elegant and simple, has glass right there. There is one cutout right there. The machining just feels great on it. The top cap is self-adjusting, which we will show you guys in a bit. There is that button with a sapphire crystal inside, and then there is that little coin they make with the glass logo underneath that. And so just very, very intricately designed. Now with the length of this, I believe it's exactly 100 millimeters, or it might be 100.5 millimeters, so 100.5 millimeters. So not the shortest mod in the world, but it's not bad. Now let's look at this top cap first. The threading on this is obviously just great. The tolerances are great. Everything just feels nice. You pull that top cap off. What this is a self-adjusting system, so you don't have to adjust anything with this top cap. That pin right there is spring-loaded, and then that is spring-loaded. So for example, you take your Addy here, you just screw it all the way down, and that sits flush, and then you would put a battery in here. Positive side up, obviously. And then that guy sits flush, okay? So that's what that would look like. Obviously very nice and elegant looking. Now, the only problem I have with this top cap is some of these newer RDAs that have extra long 510s don't sit down all the way. So for example, here's the Cascada. Look at that long 510 it has, okay? With a battery in here, it won't sit down all the way, because both of those pins will only stick in so far. You know, if you were to loosen this up, then you could screw it all the way down, but then you would have a gap here on the tube. What you can do, and what I've done, is if you wanted to use an RDA like this with a super long 510, is you can kind of minimize it all, like maybe leave a little gap right there, a little gap right there, loosen up the switch maybe even a little bit, like so. And then you could do something like that. So you kind of split that gap between all three of those seams. And so, you know, from far away, that doesn't look bad or anything, but it's something they should address if possible with the way this top cap is made in order to accommodate some of these newer Addies. Although I would put some blame on these Addy makers, because some of these 510s just don't need to be as long as they are. So that's what that guy looks like. We're not going to pull it all completely apart, but we are going to pull apart the switch. So taking a look at this switch here, in order to lock, right now it's locked, okay? In order to unlock it, you just spin it a quarter turn, now it's unlocked. The throw is great. The spin, I mean, I've never had any problems with this locking system. It feels just buttery smooth. It's crazy how well made it is. And so, you know, just the amount of throw on this button, I love the perfect amount of resistance. It feels nice, and I love this locking feature. I mean, it's one of the most carefree mods as far as using, you know, not having to adjust anything basically. So right there's obviously, it's that rhodium silver mix, which is the contacts that they use. So it is a little dirty in there. You do have your serial number in there. There is venting going on through the switch, so you're fine with that. And then there's that little C clamp there. Now, I ordered a tool for that to be able to take this off, but it never came for some freaking reason. I moved and I don't think it was forwarded correctly or something. I don't know, but I will try to take those off with some tweezers, and hopefully I don't screw the whole thing up. But obviously there you can see that, you know, it's unlocked now. That guy just presses in like that. There, it's locked, and it's not going to make a connection. The battery's just going to sit on top of that right there. All the machining on this, again, is just really, really nice. Top-notch materials, top-notch stainless, top-notch contacts. There's gold plated magnets, I guess, in the switch. So it's great. So what I figure I'm going to do is take these tweezers, and hopefully I can get that apart without it just flying out everywhere. Basically, all I'm going to try to do is spread it apart a little bit and then pop that off. So I'm just going to set it down here while I'm doing this, but I'll try to keep it all on cam. All right, I finally got it off. I would not suggest doing that unless you have the proper tooling, because I didn't, and it was a pain in the butt. So what I'm going to do now is just gently pull this apart so you guys can all have a look at it. So if you see in there, there's a gold-plated magnet on the inside. There is this piece on one side. That hole I'm figuring is for battery venting and all that. And so in order to put this in properly, it just kind of slides along that edge, I believe, and spins that little ball down there, I'm guessing. Yep. So there, it's unlocked, and then you spin it. And there it's locked. Okay. Pretty simple. It all came apart not horribly except for getting that clamp out, but that's what that switch looks like in there. Obviously those magnets are gold plated for conductivity. There is that little ball there, which is part of the locking mechanism, I believe. And so yeah, I mean, kind of cool. It's just definitely elegant, and it's definitely innovative and something different, which I like. Okay, so there I put the new one on. It's, you know, the old one's still usable, but it's kind of loose. I would have to, you know, tighten it up. But I'm just going to take these guys and kind of cinch them down so it's nice and tight on there. And then I will probably never take this switch apart again because there's really no need to. And I wouldn't suggest doing it unless you absolutely have to. Okay, so putting this bad boy back together, I'm going to go ahead and put that switch back in. Still feels just as smooth as it did before, thankfully. I'm going to take the Velocity RDA here because that looks nice on this as well. Put that guy on, screw this guy all together, and yeah, it's as easy as that, putting it together. I mean, it's just great. There it is. There it is unlocked. There it is locked, and we are good to go. So let's go ahead and go back up top and vape it and talk about it a little more. All right, so here's the glass. I put the Velocity RDA on top. I think that also looks quite nice. It looks kind of elegant. It's a 0.2 ohm build. I'll go ahead and vape it. Okay, where to start? Let's start with cons. The biggest con for me is just the fact that with some of these RDAs that have super, super duper long 510s, it won't screw down all the way. Like like some of the tugboats, what else? The Cascada RDA. And so I think that they need to account for those. I'm sure back when this was first designed, they didn't have that, but some of these RDAs that are coming out now just have incredibly long 510s. So I don't know whether to blame it more on the RDA makers or the mod makers, you know, but some of these RDAs just, the 510s don't need to be as long as they are. You know, then the pin protrudes out even more than it has to. But, you know, that's a con for me. Because there are a few RDAs that I can't use on that. To be honest with you, I think a lot of the high-end collectors, they use really high-end Addies on there, high-end Jennies on there, and obviously they don't have a problem with using something like that on it. The other con really is just the price. You know, me being someone that's middle class, that supports 2 kids, someone that's in school, I personally would never be able to justify spending that much money on a mechanical mod. That being said, do I think it's just like the most elegant, most well-made mod that I have tried to date? Yes, I do. You know, I know they spent months and months on beta testing, just trying to figure out even how to get this crystal in here, where they have to heat up the stainless steel, and I think heat up this sapphire crystal as well, put it in, and then let it cool down and kind of harden around it. The machining on this little piece inside of the button, I mean, it's just like such an intricate design. The way the switch works is just so easy to lock, unlock. The switch is just smooth, perfect amount of throw on it. And, you know, the top cap with the plunger system is great as well. The fact that they were able to do some sort of plunger system like that and not lose much in voltage drop is pretty amazing. The contacts, obviously, the mix of the different metals that they used, I'm sure took time to figure out that proprietary mix and all that. And so it's a work of art. It's a collector's piece. It's a work of art, just like with most hobbies, most industries. You have super, super high-end stuff, and then you have lower end stuff, just like with everything. I mean, there's just, look at like knives and stuff like that. There's crazy expensive knives out there that knife collectors buy. But I totally understand why some of you will look at that and be like, fuck that, that thing's overpriced. I can go buy one made from China and it's 50 bucks. But you got to just, I guess, understand the differences with them, and some people don't. Also, the buying process is more of like an experience. It's like the glass experience. You buy the mod, you can register it online, then you're invited to join a group called Glass Concierge on Facebook, where you get all kinds of support. If you have any problems with these, they're right on top of it. So it's almost like, it's kind of silly to say, but it's almost like the glass lifestyle or something. I mean, it's like a family there. The concierge group is really cool. And so the customer service is up to snuff, which it should be, because lately I've been hearing about some of these high-end modders, like these high-end regulated modders that are charging like $700-800 and then being total fucking douchebags to people when they have problems. And so shame on those guys. If you're going to be charging that kind of money for a product, you need to give awesome, awesome customer service. Sean Glass, the guy who is the creator, he's kind of a younger guy, super smart. I talked to him on the phone for like an hour and a half one time. Very, very smart. The guy actually cares a lot about this industry, cares a lot about his customers. I've never heard anybody say anything about bad customer service from them. And it's really kind of, like I said, it's an experience. The buying process is an experience. So if you're someone that is a high-end collector and you do spend lots of money on mods, I would suggest it. It's something that's great to put into your collection if you want a high-end mechanical mod. If you're someone that, is like me and middle class and can't justify it, so be it. Totally understand that as well. I think I said the same thing when I reviewed those drip tips that were like $70-80. I mean, to each his own. That's what's so beautiful about this industry, is that we have products all over the spectrum that everyone can afford, and some people can afford more and some people can afford less. I can't afford nearly as much as a lot of you guys out there. I wish I could, but I don't hate you because you can. And I say to each his own. If you can afford it, go for it. So that's really all I have to say. It's a lovely, gorgeous, elegant mod that's just beautiful, and it's been a joy to use. It's kind of funny because I hear things like people say mech mods are dead and blah, 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 but then I go to like vape events and I still see so many people using mech mods. So I know there's still a market for them out there. And I'm sure the market for them will come back sometimes and go back down sometimes, just like everything fluctuates. I mean, squonkers are going up and down. Billet boxes go up and down in popularity. And so I'm sure mechanical mods will make more of a comeback at some point too. So if you are in the market for one of these, or at least want to just check them out, I suggest, even if you're not ever going to buy it, check out their website, glassvapor.com. Has some beautiful pictures, shows how they work, shows the different materials, all that good stuff. And so it's a really cool site. It's glassvapor.com. Like I said, this one's $325. They do have some others, like one that's titanium. They have a rhodium black version. They have a stainless steel version that's coated with silver on the inside. They have like the glass phantom, the glass, I forget what else, some brass ones, all kinds of different really, really pretty things. So if you just like mod porn and like to look at different mods, I would definitely suggest checking out their website if you never have. So I think that about wraps it up. Big thanks to Sean from Glass Mods for sending this along for review. It was great getting to know him as well. And so, yeah, until next time, guys, thanks for watching Suck My Mod.